Hey, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Hope everybody's doing great. Thanks for tuning on in. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great. Miami Heat victorious in their building. First home win of the season, 106-98 on a special night. Dwyane Wade, of course, getting honored, his statue, which he shook off like D-Wade would shake off many defenders. Shook off all of the memes, all of the haters, and unsurprisingly handled himself with just great class with everybody. And I love it. I love it, man. I got a chance before the game today. I did two things before the game today, which I was excited about. I went down to the arena for a little birthday basketball for myself, and the Heat delivered a victory, so I can't say that it was. I can't say it was a bad birthday. I took a little stroll down Dwyane Wade Blvd, and was very pleased to see the signs up. Dwyane Wade was officially presented it at halftime. The Legend Street finally got the signs up. His street, his house. That's Goosey's Galore right there, dude. Dwyane addressed the media beforehand, and as he was leaving, he asked me a question.
Sir, how you like our street? Pretty freaking good? So congratulations, bro. No, we did it. We fucking did it, dog.
You guys, injury update.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. That's Goosey's Galore right there. I mean, like, look, it's the GOAT Street. I'm happy for him. He deserves it. I'm happy for his family. I told you guys in the last video, the video of him and his family all touching the sign there. So friggin' cool. So deserved. So happy for the Wades. And but hey, I'll take it. Like that was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it wasn't. So we get to the game, and Miami Heat taking on the Pistons back at home. And first off, good thing, same starting lineup. We're rocking with it right now. And eventful start to the game for Nikola Jovic. You know, it was interesting. You know, he was going up against Tobias Harris, and he was getting his battles there. Rebounding battles. He got an and one scored on him. He missed it. He airballed a three. He hit a three. He got a foul in the midst of him and Jimmy diving into the stands. Nico, man, it was one of these things. Like, it was a kind of a growing pains game for Nico. There was one though, dude. I mean, getting no respect, the giant Serbian, from the officials, where like he got like clotheslined by two dudes, and like play on. Refs did not call it. It was something, man. The Heat backcourt, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier. I think a lot of people will go and they'll look at the final numbers those guys put up from downtown today, and will be like, not too impressed. Tyler Hero finished 3 of 12. Terry Rozier, I mean, he finished with 5 of 12 from downtown. Spose did a really cool thing afterwards. He was asked about this by Wes Goldberg from Locked On. I believe he's just like, I think the term that he used, I believe, was killers. I believe he said that those guys are killers. He loves the idea of them taking double-digit threes. I know there are going to be nights where people aren't happy with it, but those guys are finding each other. There's a great chemistry with each other. I was asking Terry about this after the game. He's like, it's a pick your poison thing. And, you know, Terry really is just, he's infectious, man. He's getting his teammates involved in everything. There's a speed to his game that's dynamic, but this dude had a sick ass lob to Jimmy Butler from half court. Jimmy Butler's got those. He's got those fresh legs, man. He had some spring in his step. Gave Miami its first real lead of the game, I think, at like 15-14. Pistons would take a timeout. Building was jumping for it. It was an exciting one for sure. That was a fantastic performance. Game would be a very close game. It was 30-28, and in the second quarter was really where Miami looked like they were going to take control of this game. There were a lot of there were a lot of great plays and fun plays in this. Jaime, we got to see some of that patented Jaime Jaquez footwork on. He had back-to-back buckets. We saw him go in the paint, turn around, off the glass. Saw that beautiful flowing hair doing its thing. And then Bam and Terry connected for just a monster lob. And Bam crammed it down with authority, dude. And Miami went up 7 at that point. Cade Cunningham, who was him and Jade and like a sprinkle of Jaden Ivey were like the big threats. Although actually I got to take that back because Tim Hardaway Jr. had himself a third quarter to really flip this game on its head. But Cade Cunningham, he's had a handful of good performances against the Miami Heat, especially since the start of last year. His first couple performances against Miami were really good. This start of the year, I mean, look, I don't. It's such a funny thing with Cade Cunningham because I've seen him live, I think 3 times now. And every time I watch this guy play, I am like, this guy feels like one of the most talented players in the league. I don't know why it doesn't equate to wins. I don't really understand it because it's not like he has. I look at him and I'm like, man, Tobias Harris, that's a good teammate. I know everybody makes the jokes, but Tobias Harris is as solid a vet as it gets. Tim Hardaway Jr., this guy was a piece of a finals team. Yes, benched by the end, but like a professional NBA player. So he's got 2 guys there with a ton of experience. Jaden Ivey, everybody thinks is like really explosive. He had some, I'm not going to lie, dude. There was the game ops today played Pepas with. They played Pepas. It was a Tyler to Terry 3-ball. Put him up 103-92, but there was still just under 2 minutes left. And I go over to Wes was sitting next to me from Locked On, and I'm like, risky Pepas. And it ended up getting to like 6. It was still like Ivy hit a 3-ball off of like 2 misses, kick out to him. But Jimmy Butler would put an end to that nonsense. He'd put the actual dagger in the game. I'm getting a little scattered all over the place. But I say that just to give flowers to Cade Cunningham because anytime I watch the guy, I'm like, man, this guy's a really good player. Yet they're 0-4. And they have, I mean, in his tenure as their best player, I know there was a bad injury there in one time where he had a weird shin thing. But they're one of the worst teams in the league, like consistently. So obviously something is amiss there to that. Like he either has the worst coaching, which obviously they paid Monty Williams like $80 million and then told him to go away after a year. It's definitely an effed up situation. I'm not putting it all on him. I just find it, I'm just saying this to tell you, I find it confusing because I watch him live play. I'm like, man, this guy's really good. I don't understand. Why does his team suck so bad? But they do. They not a lot coming off of that bench. I mean, you have Isaiah Stewart. He's like the basketball version of Julian Hill. He's just mauling fools. Malik Beasley, rough day at the field from him. 1 of 12. Ron Holland had some moments. Like I know there was a lot of Heat buzz about him. He ended up getting taken 5th overall. Fontecchio killed the Heat at one point last year in his games where like he put up big numbers. So. But it was, definitely a team where, like, I think that Pistons team should be better, but the Heat obviously should take care of business against them, and they did. And so, getting back to that second quarter, this is really, I think the thing that stood out from this game was Haywood Highsmith. I thought Haywood Highsmith came into this game and just brought, like, a tenacity to it, man. And it's interesting, like, he didn't play the last game and went to Alec Burks, and this might be a matchup thing. Like, Spo does have a little bit of a he's got depth. He's gonna have some hard decisions to make, but I don't think Spo's gonna force this like 11-man rotation on everybody. Like, he dipped his toe in the water of it a little bit today, but not really. Like, his main 9 were the starting unit with Duncan, Highsmith, Thomas Bryant, who I thought played well, and Jaime Jaquez, and a lot of that was led by Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler with those 4 individuals, and there was just something about it. Like, it if you go and look at the box score, all of the starters are in the minus. Jimmy and those 4 guys, everybody on the bench was a plus, but particularly those 4 guys with Jimmy were all pluses in the double digits. And yeah, him and everybody in the starting lineup was a minus other than Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was awesome today. What can you say about the guy? I mentioned the Terry Rozier lob to him, but he finished with 23 points. He got to the free throw line again a ton, just like he did last game. Last game he got 17. This time he got 11. So Jimmy Butler is getting to the free throw line a lot. He looks very much, just to let everybody know, he looks very much like Jimmy Butler. And I do want to make a quick aside on something on this, just for the Heat fan, because there was a lot of people who got their undies in a bunch because he wasn't at the D Wade statue ceremony. And I get it. We're always looking, we're always looking for something. We're always looking for juice, and fine. But you guys, first of all, should know by now, Jimmy does his own thing. The guy marches to his own beat. That's part of the reason, with the Heat organization, he says, I appreciate that they let me be me. And not everybody is going to be the company man all the time and show up to everything. Even at my job, there are people who are way more enthusiastic about all the events that you have outside of work than others. And, then there are others who just show up for the games. There are the others that show up when it matters, that they're looking to. And so, I saw even people who were like, I don't know, something frosty there with Dwyane and Jimmy Butler. I'm like, I just saw them at the Pat Riley thing days ago. They're hugging it up. They're posting each other on Instagram. And I actually asked D Wade before the game today about Jimmy Butler, and he gave all these beautiful things on Jimmy and how he should be proud about what he's done because he's gotten to the finals twice in the last 5 years. He's like, not many teams have gotten to the finals twice since I've retired. And that even if he wins, you're going to deal with doubters. And my question to Dwyane, which was based on the idea that Dwayne's been in the position of Jimmy, of that, hey, people want to know, hey, do you have it anymore? At the age 34, 35, can you still be that dude? Can you still be the guy who leads a team to deep places? Because obviously it's kind of the question of Jimmy's career at this point. And Dwyane gave a really thoughtful, long answer to it. And about just the idea that, this Jimmy Butler, what he has to be this year, he has to be a leader, and that he has to fill the right role for this team in particular.
Dwyane, you had a message for the current team over here. You had a message for the current team yesterday, but you've also...
Oh, you heard my little message?
Yeah. Oh, okay. But you've also been the star that people wonder at this age, hey, can he still do it? People maybe have those questions for Jimmy now, hey, can he still bring a team like this back to the finals at this age? What is your message to him and what that position is like to show people, no, I still got it?
Showing people you still got it, I don't even know. I don't think he needs to concern himself with that. I think he needs to, figure out this team this year and how he's going to be the best version of Jimmy Butler for this team. Roles change, and you gotta find that road. You gotta find that comfort. And so right now we're watching the team finding themselves, and Jimmy has to find his role on this year's team. It's not the same as the first year when he got here. The personnel is different. He's different. He's older, as well. Miles is adding up, but he's smarter as a basketball player than he's ever been. So he has enough pressure. He puts enough pressure on himself to try to, help this organization get to the finals. Let's not get it twisted. We've been to the finals, twice since I left? How many organizations have been to the final twice since I left in 6 years? Not many. So you got to kind of, the noise, yes, is there, but you got to learn how to, you got to learn how to have muffles, put earmuffs on to the noise and focus on the work. And Jimmy Butler knows how to work. And so, his job is to do it every day. And I think that's the message that's been around here for this team, for all these guys, for Tyler, for Bam, for all these guys who are super duper talented, that has been there, that has had success. They got to get up and they got to do it again, and they got to do it every day. And so the noise is going to be there until you do it. And even if you do it, ask Jason Tatum, do the noise go away? No, it's still noise. And so show up every day, do the work, and try to help put yourself in the position, this organization's position to win, because that's what you say you want to do. And so we hope they do that this year. We hope Jimmy is one of the leaders. But it's not just on Jimmy Butler. So it's on this entire team, it's on the entire coaching staff, it's on their front office upstairs to make sure that they have the right product on the court to get that goal.
And funny enough, Jimmy goes out there today. He finishes with 4 steals. He had 4 steals. Bam had 3 and 3 steals, 3 blocks. Jaime Jaquez had 3 steals. Jaime, of course, models a lot of his game after Jimmy. Haywood Highsmith had 2. It felt like he had a lot more. Maybe they were deflections. Maybe there was something else. But I felt like Haywood Highsmith had a lot more than that. But all in all, the Heat ended up finishing with 14 steals today. And that was right in line with their preseason model of what they wanted. And I asked Jimmy about this after the game, about the idea of like, hey, everybody, you're great at this. You're great at this risk taking. You're great at stealing the basketball, but now it seems like this is part of all of you. And so when D Wade goes and tells you like he has to lead and everybody has to follow, like if you're going to follow anybody's lead on how to take the basketball away from people, you follow that man's lead. He's one of the best in the world at it. And it's funny because before the game, I'll get to Jimmy's answer here in a second, but my guy Solano was asking Eric Spoelstra about what he remembers from This Is My House moment. And Spo was actually talking about, it's funny about looking back at that play when Spo steals the ball from John Salmons and how he was risk-taking back then. And then Spo, I believe, said this before, that there's the team rules and then there's the Jimmy Butler rules, where Jimmy has a little bit more leeway to gamble. Well, Jimmy today says he wants everybody to gamble on the Heat. He doesn't want it to just be him. He wants everybody to gamble. Here's Jimmy.
It's always been, one of the best in the league at stealing basketball. When you see all of your teammates kind of buy into that, how much do you like that as a team leader?
I love it. Gamble. You just got to get like 4 out of 6. You can up 2. Spo will probably get mad, but if you get 4 out of 6, he can't be too mad. I want all the gambling in the world. That's what I do. I want everybody else to follow suit.
I don't know if Spo's going to love that from everybody, because again, there's typically the Jimmy rules and everybody else, but Jimmy's point is basically gamble, but don't lose too much. Don't lose. And if they're all going to take the identity of their team and their leader, that's their superpower. That's something that they can bring to the table. Obviously, so much debate over the times of like Bam and Jimmy and what they are as duos. Where should they be ranked? And obviously, it's an unconventional duo, right? Like we talk about the offense, and we've all talked about the idea of, this was going to be the year the Heat changed the offense. And things are noticeably different on some ends. I think the Heat are just a much more fun watch this year, by far, already in the 3 games, than they have been in the years prior. Still some close games, we would like to have. It was still a bad third quarter today that, they scored 14 points, but they were able to bounce back. I feel like that would have, that could have gone in a really dark place, like last year, if it was the old fashion of it. But Bam and Jimmy are such an unconventional top tier of guys because both of them are like elite 2-way players, but they probably tilt more towards being world-class defenders than they do world-class offensive players, especially in the regular season for Jimmy and for Bam. And I just think that's interesting. And Bam, really, I don't think there's a game where Bam's necessarily found his offensive footing. This is a game like he really did have to. This team in Detroit, you have Isaiah Stewart, but that Jalen Duren is a pretty impressive guy. I think he's a pretty impressive player. But these guys are just tenacious on the glass. And the Heat, what did they give up today? There was 19 offensive rebounds for the Pistons today. That's been a bit of a theme early on, so you can keep an eye on that. But yeah, this wasn't a game for Bam because he couldn't really be pretty. Jovic was having some issues and didn't really get out of those starting stint blocks. and Spo's not playing Kalo, where Thomas Bryant did play well. Thomas Bryant did have a moment today that was huge for the Heat because he, at the start of the fourth quarter, Miami had this, got outscored 26-14, like I said, vintage third quarter at home. And, Duncan misses a 3-ball. Thomas Bryant gets the tip out, not necessarily the rebound, but gets it right to Jimmy Butler, who gets the and one. He's going nuts. Thomas Bryant's getting crazy for Jimmy Butler going out. It was just a great moment. And right after that, you had a Haywood Highsmith ripping it from Cunningham, gets the bucket and the foul. Jaime then got the steal in the passing lane, throws it to Jimmy, throws it to Haywood. And just immediately then Jimmy finds Jaime Jaquez for a 3-ball. And the game had just completely flipped back to Miami like that. So really a good all-around performance, especially from your second unit. I think that the first half was pretty good from most of your starters, but yeah, Jimmy with those guys off the bench, there was something that really popped with it today. So Miami is off, and they will wait the New York Knicks, who lost today to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavs are 4-0, Celtics are 4-0, Bucks dropped to 1-3. Anything else in the East that was of note that's kind of surprising? Suns got the best of the Lakers tonight. So the Lakers got their first loss. The Magic improved to 3-1. Magic beat the Pacers 119-115. Looks like your boy's prediction of the Pacers not off to a great start so far this season. I haven't even gone to the box scores. Forgive me. It's a little after 1 a.m. But anyway, it was man, it was an awesome day. It was a really fun Dwyane Wade weekend, and really I got to go around the statue today. I thought it looked cool. I know everybody's ripping it to shreds and all that type of stuff. Man, I will say the details, you go up there, man, so much of it is beautiful. Even looking from behind and seeing it overlook the city, and the shoes, his parents' names on it, the table, the water bottles, you get to see his accolades on it. When you go there, you get to see the accolades all there on a plaque. You get to see the quotes. He's got some Dwyane Wade quotes around it. I would look. Don't let anybody ruin it for you. I would say if you're a Heat fan, go enjoy this. It felt like a lot of people did. I saw you took some pictures with people out in front of the thing today, and really, really cool. And Jimmy Butler, by the way, said he's yeah, I'm sure other people are going to get statues as well. He's I'm happy for my guy. That's I'm proud of him.
What do you think of Dwyane statue?
I like it. I mean, I think what he's done for the city, I think it's crazy that, he's the first one to get a statue out there. I'm pretty sure he won't be the last one to get one, but what a way to set an example. I mean, that guy has done so much for this organization. That's my brother, man. I'm proud of him.
So everybody can calm the hell down. Jimmy Butler and Dwyane Wade are good. There is no rift. There is no it doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't a call out. I mean, Dwyane Wade, I think Dwyane Wade is, Dwyane Wade is expecting these guys hey, keep up the brand. Don't embarrass the logo. I think there is an element to that from Dwyane. And then I think that's okay. Who has this, if he doesn't have the cachet to do it, nobody does. But awesome weekend. Shout out to D Wade. Congrats on the statue. Congrats to D Wade Blvd. And man, the memories that dude has filled and given of joy for everybody as Heat fans. Man, we could do podcast after podcast or YouTube episode after YouTube episode talking about the great D Wade games. And he also just seems to be even growing into an even more incredible individual off the court with everything that he's doing. Great dude, great dude, and just has a way with people to lift him up, make him feel something, and those are rare. So Awesome weekend for Dwyane. He deserved every piece of it.